The silent betrayal. Commander Sarah Chen stood motionless before the holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the swirling data streams that told a story of systematic betrayal. The colony of New Eden, humanity's most ambitious terraforming project to date, was dying. Not from natural causes or human error, but from carefully orchestrated sabotage. "Show me the pattern analysis again," she commanded, her voice steady despite the rage building in her chest. Dr. Maya Rodriguez, New Eden's chief terraforming specialist, manipulated the holographic controls with practiced precision. The air shimmered as complex molecular structures materialized before them. "It's in the bacterial strains," Maya explained, highlighting a series of genetic markers. "The terraforming bacteria we received from the Galactic Federation. They've been engineered to fail. Not immediately, but gradually, in a way that would look like natural degradation. We found the same genetic signature in samples from all 3 failed colonies." Sarah's augmented neural interface hummed as it processed the implications. For 50 years, the Galactic Federation had positioned itself as humanity's mentor, guiding Earth's expansion into the stars. They'd shared technology, provided resources, and helped establish colonies across dozens of worlds. And all of it, every gesture of friendship and support, had been carefully calculated deception. "How many know about this?" Sarah asked, already calculating contingencies. "Just the core research team, and now you," Maya replied, her hands trembling slightly as she manipulated another dataset. "But there's more. We've detected quantum irregularities in the Federation's protective satellites. They're not defending our colonies. They're actively destabilizing our terraforming efforts." Sarah's mind raced through the possibilities. The Federation's betrayal wasn't just about the colonies. It was about containing humanity's expansion. But why? The answer came from an unexpected source. "Permission to speak freely, Commander." Lieutenant David Park, her tactical officer, stepped forward from his monitoring station. At Sarah's nod, he continued, "I've been analyzing Federation communication patterns. Their encrypted traffic increased by 300% after our breakthrough in quantum consciousness integration. They're afraid of us." Sarah turned to face him fully. "Explain." "The Federation's power structure is built on technological superiority, but humanity's rate of advancement, it's unprecedented. We're not just learning their technology, we're improving it, finding applications they never considered. The Quantum Consciousness Project alone." He trailed off, letting the implications hang in the air. The Quantum Consciousness Project, humanity's attempt to create a true merger of human minds with artificial intelligence. The Federation had dismissed it as impossible, right up until the first successful tests. Their congratulations had been immediate and effusive, and a week later, the first colony began to fail. Sarah moved to the central command table, activating its secure protocols with a thought through her neural interface. "Maya, how long can you maintain the facade that we haven't discovered their sabotage?" "A month, maybe 2. We've been adjusting our monitoring systems to show only what they expect to see." "Good, keep it that way." Sarah's fingers danced across the holographic controls, accessing files that technically didn't exist. "Lieutenant Park, I want every scrap of Federation communications data analyzed. Find out when and where they plan to strike next. Maya, continue your work, but start quietly archiving all research data to our secure quantum servers." "What are we going to do?" Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Sarah's smile was cold and determined. "We're going to learn from their mistake. The Federation thinks they can contain humanity by destroying our colonies. Fine. Let them think they've won. Let them grow confident in their superiority. Because while they're watching our colonies fail, they won't be watching what we're building in the shadows." She brought up a new hologram, schematics for a project so classified even most of Earth's government didn't know it existed. Project Prometheus. A new kind of ship, a new kind of weapon, a new kind of human. The Federation taught us the art of deception. Now we'll show them how well we've learned. As her officers dispersed to their tasks, Sarah remained at the command table, watching the real-time data from New Eden's failing ecosystems. The Federation had made a critical error in their calculations. They assumed that by destroying our colonies, they would break our spirit, force us to accept our place as their subordinates. Instead, they had given humanity something far more dangerous than technology or territory. They had given us a reason to unite, to push beyond our limits, to prove that we deserved our place among the stars not through their guidance, but despite their betrayal. Begin Phase 1. Sarah commanded, and across the solar system, hidden facilities hummed to life, preparing for a war that would reshape the galaxy. The Federation thought they were watching humanity's dream of expansion die. Instead, they were witnessing the birth of something far more terrifying: humanity's awakening to its true potential. And when we finally revealed ourselves, they would learn why every species in their long history that had tried to contain humanity had ultimately failed. We don't break under pressure. We evolve. Project Phoenix Rising. Deep beneath the Martian surface, in a facility that didn't officially exist, Dr. James Cattry watched as his life's work took form. The massive chamber thrummed with quantum energy as the experimental vessel's crystalline hull pulsed with patterns of bioluminescence, responding to the thoughts of its pilot. Neural synchronization at 97%, reported Dr. Anna Santos, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. Quantum field stability holding steady. James, I think we've finally done it. The ship before them represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, and its best-kept secret, while the Galactic Federation watched their colonies fail, believing they were successfully containing humanity's expansion. They had no idea what was growing in the shadows of their supposed victory. Begin consciousness integration test, James commanded, his own neural implant connecting him to the facility's systems. In the testing chamber, Lieutenant Maria Patel floated in a suspension pod, her mind linked directly to the experimental vessel through quantum entanglement. The ship's crystalline surface rippled like liquid mercury, its form shifting and flowing as it adapted to Maria's thoughts. This wasn't just a vessel, it was an extension of human consciousness, a perfect merger of organic thought and advanced technology. Integration successful, Anna announced, her voice tight with excitement. Neural patterns are stable. Quantum consciousness matrix is self-sustaining. James allowed himself a small smile. After 3 years of relentless work, Project Phoenix was bearing fruit. The Federation had thought they understood human technology, conventional engines, basic shields, primitive AI. They had no idea we'd learned to weaponize consciousness itself. Lieutenant Patel, how do you feel? He asked through the quantum comm link. Maria's response came not in words, but in a surge of sensation through the neural network. The ship's hull flowed like water, transforming from a sleek vessel into a complex geometric pattern that shouldn't have been possible in three-dimensional space. I am the ship, she finally said, her voice resonating with harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. And the ship is me. Dr. Cattry, this is incredible. I can see everything, feel everything. The quantum field, the fabric of space itself, it's all just an extension of my thoughts. Commander Chen's hologram materialized beside James, her expression one of carefully controlled awe. Status report. Better than we hoped, James replied, sending her the test data through their secure quantum link. The neural integration is perfect. These ships aren't just vessels, Sarah. They're living weapons, capable of evolving in real time during combat. The more they fight, the stronger they become. And the Lazarus Protocol. James gestured to another chamber, where a destroyed prototype was rebuilding itself from scattered fragments, its crystalline structure growing and reforming like a living organism. Fully operational. They can't die, Sarah. Not really. Every time they're destroyed, they learn, adapt, and come back stronger. Sarah's hologram studied the regenerating vessel with intense focus. How many pilots have successfully bonded? 50 so far. The neural interface is selective. It requires a specific type of mind, someone who can think in quantum states, who can perceive reality in more than 3 dimensions. We're calling them the Ascended. In training chambers throughout the facility, those very pilots were preparing for humanity's revenge. Through neural interfaces far more sophisticated than anything the Federation possessed, they merged their consciousness with the quantum ships, becoming something entirely new, something that transcended traditional definitions of human and machine. The Federation's predictive models weren't wrong, Anna noted, bringing up a holographic display of their latest test results. We are surpassing their technology, just not in the way they expected. They think in terms of linear advancement, bigger weapons, stronger shields. We've created something that evolves during combat itself. How long can we keep this hidden? Sarah asked. The quantum shielding around this facility is impenetrable to their sensors, James assured her. As far as the Federation knows, we're working on desperate measures to protect our failing colonies. Speaking of which, he brought up another display showing the status of humanity's official response to the colony failures. On the surface, Earth's military appeared to be frantically developing better conventional defenses, exactly what the Federation would expect. Each new breakthrough was carefully designed to fail, reinforcing their belief in their strategy's success. The latest colony shield generators are performing exactly as planned, James reported with grim satisfaction. They'll fail spectacularly when the Federation launches their next attack. Our scientists will appear baffled, our military will seem desperate, and our politicians will beg for more Federation assistance. While underneath, we're building the most advanced fleet in galactic history, Sarah finished. The quantum ships are just the beginning. Wait until they see what we've done with dimensional warfare. Their conversation was interrupted by a priority alert. Lieutenant Park's face appeared on a secure channel, his expression urgent. Commander, we've intercepted Federation communications. They're planning something big, a coordinated attack on 5 colonies simultaneously. They're calling it the final solution to the human problem. Instead of concern, Sarah's expression showed satisfaction. Timeline: 2 months. James turned to the commander, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. Perfect. By then, we'll have 100 ships ready for deployment. Let them commit everything to this attack. Let them think they're about to solve their human problem permanently. In the testing chamber, Maria's ship pulsed with deadly purpose, as if it too understood what was coming. The Federation had spent decades studying humanity, learning our weaknesses, analyzing our capabilities. But they had missed something crucial. Humans were at their most dangerous when cornered. They thought they were witnessing humanity's last gasp. Instead, they were about to meet our true potential. In trying to prevent our rise, they had only ensured it would be far more dramatic and far more terrible than their worst predictions could have imagined. The trap was almost ready. All that remained was to wait for them to spring it themselves. The evolution protocol. The quantum training chamber pulsed with ethereal light as Lieutenant Maria Patil merged her consciousness with her ship for the 1,000th time. But this integration was different. This time, she wasn't alone. Neural network synchronization complete, Dr. Santos announced, monitoring the complex web of quantum connections linking 50 ascended pilots and their vessels. Collective consciousness matrix is stable. From his observation post, Dr. Katri watched in awe as 50 quantum ships moved as one, their crystalline forms flowing and shifting in impossible patterns. The evolution protocol, humanity's greatest achievement in neural engineering, was exceeding even his wildest expectations. Begin combat simulation alpha, he commanded. Full spectrum engagement. The chamber's advanced holographic systems generated a perfect replica of a Federation battle fleet. 500 warships armed with every weapon humanity had ever encountered. Under normal circumstances, it would have been an overwhelming force. But these were not normal circumstances. The quantum ships moved like a single organism, their forms constantly evolving as they engaged the simulated enemy. when plasma torpedoes streaked toward them. Their hulls developed crystalline structures that absorbed and redirected the energy. When quantum disruptors tried to tear them apart, they simply shifted into higher dimensional states, becoming untouchable. They're learning exponentially faster in the collective state, Anna reported, her voice filled with wonder. Each pilot's experiences are being instantly shared and integrated across the entire fleet. They're not just adapting to attacks, they're predicting them. Through her neural link, Maria felt the combined consciousness of 50 pilots and ships working in perfect harmony. It was unlike anything human minds had ever experienced, a synthesis of individual identity and collective awareness that transcended normal boundaries of thought and reality. Federation tactical analysis suggests their ships are vulnerable to concentrated tachyon bursts, she reported, her voice carrying ethereal harmonics from the quantum link. Implementing countermeasures now. The fleet's crystalline hulls rippled with new patterns, developing structures that existed partially outside normal spacetime. The next simulated tachyon burst simply passed through them without effect. Remarkable, James breathed, studying the data streams. They're not just evolving their defenses, they're evolving past the very concept of conventional warfare. The Federation's weapons are based on manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe. Our ships are learning to transcend those forces entirely. Commander Chen's hologram appeared, accompanied by Lieutenant Park. Status report. The evolution protocol has exceeded all projections, James replied. The quantum fleet isn't just ready for combat. They're redefining what combat means. Show her, Maria. Through the neural network, Maria commanded her ship to demonstrate its latest evolution. The crystalline vessel shifted through forms that shouldn't have been possible, its structure moving through multiple dimensions simultaneously. When a simulated Federation flagship fired its most powerful weapon, Maria's ship didn't defend against the attack. It simply altered the local properties of spacetime so that the attack could not exist. They won't just be fighting our ships, Anna explained. They'll be fighting physics itself. Every weapon they use, every tactic they employ, will only teach our fleet new ways to transcend the rules they rely on. And the Lazarus Protocol? Sarah asked. In response, Maria deliberately allowed a simulated attack to destroy her ship. The crystalline fragments hung in space for a moment, then began to move with purpose. They absorbed nearby matter, converting it into new quantum crystalline structures. Within minutes, her ship had reformed. But it wasn't the same ship. It had evolved, incorporating the knowledge gained from its own destruction. Average resurrection time is down to 10 minutes, James reported. And each time they resurrect, they come back stronger. The Federation thinks they understand warfare, but they're about to face something beyond their comprehension. Speaking of the Federation, Park interjected, bringing up a holographic display of intercepted communications. We've confirmed their attack plans. 5 simultaneous strikes, using their entire combined fleet. They're bringing in ships from every member species. Sarah's hologram smiled coldly. Perfect. Let them commit everything. Are the quantum beacons in place? All 5 target colonies have been secretly evacuated, Park confirmed. Quantum beacons are masked but operational. When the Federation launches their attack, they'll find exactly what we want them to find. In the training chamber, the quantum fleet continued their evolution, each simulation pushing them further beyond the boundaries of conventional physics and consciousness. The Federation had created this situation through their own arrogance, their fear of humanity's potential leading them to betray the very species they should have embraced as equals. Final combat assessment? Sarah asked. Maria answered through the quantum link. Her consciousness merged with both her ship and the collective fleet. We are ready, Commander. The Federation believes they understand humanity's capabilities. They believe they can predict and counter our tactics, but they cannot predict what we have become. We are no longer bound by the limitations they assume we have. They expect to find desperate colonies defended by primitive technology, Anna added. Instead, they'll face something they never imagined possible, a humanity that has transcended their understanding of what's possible. As the simulation concluded, 50 quantum ships resumed their base crystalline forms, but there was nothing basic about them now. Each vessel thrummed with potential, ready to evolve in ways that would rewrite the rules of warfare and existence itself. The Federation thought they were coming to end the human problem. Instead, they were about to discover why every species that had ever underestimated humanity had learned the same crucial lesson. We don't just adapt to challenges, we transform them into opportunities for advancement they never imagined possible. The evolution protocol wasn't just a military strategy. It was humanity's answer to those who thought they could contain us, control us, or destroy us. We had taken their betrayal and used it as catalyst for our own transcendence. And in 2 months, they would learn exactly what they had created. Counterstrike. Supreme Admiral Vexthal stood on the bridge of the Federation flagship, Eternal Dominion, his crystalline form refracting the light of 5 stars simultaneously. Before him, holographic displays showed the largest fleet ever assembled in the Federation's history. Over 3,000 warships gathered from every member species, positioned to strike at humanity's remaining colonies. Final status report, he commanded, his voice resonating through the ship's crystal architecture. All fleet elements in position. Supreme Admiral, his tactical officer responded. Human defense systems appear to be powering down. Their colony shields are failing exactly as predicted. Vexthal allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The humans had proven more resilient than expected, but in the end, they were following the same pattern as every emerging species that had threatened the Federation's dominance. Soon, they would accept their proper place in the galactic hierarchy. Open communication channels to all 5 colonies, he ordered. Let us give them one final chance to surrender with dignity. The main view screen flickered to life, showing Commander Sarah Chen's face. To Vexthal's surprise, she didn't appear desperate or defeated. If anything, she seemed amused. Supreme Admiral, she greeted him with unsettling casualness. I was wondering when you'd make your final move. Commander Chen, Vexthal responded smoothly. The Federation Council has determined that humanity's uncontrolled expansion must end. Surrender your colonies now, and your species will be permitted to retain Earth under our direct supervision. Sarah's smile grew colder. You know, Admiral, for an advanced species, you've made a very primitive mistake. You assumed that just because you couldn't detect our progress, it wasn't happening. Enough games, Vexthal snapped. Your colonies are defenseless. Your ships are primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours. What possible progress could you have hidden? Evolution, Sarah replied simply. Initialize Quantum Protocol Phoenix. Across all 5 systems, massive doors began opening in the surfaces of moons and asteroids that Federation scans had dismissed as lifeless. From these hidden bays emerged humanity's response to years of sabotage and betrayal. Vexthal's crystalline form vibrated with shock as his sensors registered the impossible. The ships emerging from hiding didn't match any known configuration. Their hulls seemed to flow like liquid crystal, their forms shifting and changing even as he watched. What are these abominations? He demanded. The next step in human evolution, Sarah answered. You were so focused on containing our external expansion that you never noticed our internal transformation. Initiate collective consciousness stink. Through his ship's sensors, Vexthal watched in horror as the human vessels merged into a single quantum network. Their crystalline forms pulsed with patterns that hurt his eyes to look at, suggesting geometries that shouldn't exist in normal space. All Federation ships, open fire, he commanded. Use every weapon. Destroy these aberrations. 3,000 Federation warships unleashed their full arsenal. Plasma torpedoes, quantum disruptors, tachyon beams, and weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself. All focused on the human fleet. None of it mattered. The quantum ships flowed around the attacks like water, their forms constantly evolving. When Federation weapons did strike home, The damaged vessels simply reformed, stronger than before. Each destroyed ship resurrected itself within minutes, incorporating debris from both sides into new and more powerful configurations. Impossible, Vexethel whispered as his flagship's most powerful weapon passed harmlessly through a human vessel that had shifted partially out of normal spacetime. What have you become? What you forced us to become, Sarah replied. Every colony you destroyed, every setback you engineered, every act of sabotage, it all pushed us to evolve faster. You thought you were containing a threat. Instead, you created exactly what you feared most. Through the quantum network, Maria Patel's consciousness merged with 50 others, directing their ships with a unity of purpose that transcended individual thought. The Federation fleet's tactical patterns were analyzed, countered, and transcended within seconds. Each attack they launched only served to make the quantum ships stronger. Lieutenant Park, Sarah commanded, show them what else we've learned. Hidden quantum beacons activated around the colonies, creating a web of entangled spacetime. The Federation fleet found itself trapped in a region where the normal laws of physics were more suggestion than rule. Their weapons began to malfunction as fundamental forces shifted unpredictably. You see, Admiral, Sarah continued, while you were watching our colonies fail, we were learning to manipulate reality itself. Your weapons are based on physics. Ours transcend it. Initiate final phase. The quantum fleet moved as one, their crystalline forms flowing into configurations that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Federation ships began to disappear as space itself refused to acknowledge their existence. Wait, Vexethel cried out as his flagship systems began to fail. We can negotiate. The Federation will recognize humanity as equals. That opportunity existed once, Sarah replied. You chose betrayal instead. Now you'll understand why every species that tried to contain humanity has failed. We don't just adapt to challenges, we transform them into opportunities for transcendence. As his ship's crystal structure began to dissolve under forces he couldn't comprehend, Vexethel finally understood the Federation's fatal error. They had tried to prevent humanity's evolution by forcing them to struggle for survival. Instead, they had created something beyond their worst nightmares, a humanity that had evolved past the need for conventional physics, conventional warfare, or conventional existence itself. The age of Federation dominance was over. The age of human transcendence had begun. Ascension. In the quantum-shifted space above Earth's last defenseless colony, the remnants of the Federation fleet drifted in disarray. Supreme Admiral Vexthel's flagship hung motionless, its crystalline structure partially phased out of normal spacetime, a monument to the Federation's miscalculation. Through the collective consciousness network, Maria Patel felt the combined awareness of 50 ascended pilots as they maintained the quantum field that had neutralized the Federation's mighty armada. Not through destruction, but through transcendence. Their ships hadn't just evolved beyond the Federation's weapons, they had evolved beyond the very concepts the Federation used to wage war. Status report. Commander Chen's voice echoed through quantum space, reaching both physical ears and merged consciousness simultaneously. Federation fleet is completely neutralized, Maria responded, her thoughts carrying through the network. Their ships are trapped in a quantum state between conventional spacetime and dimensional void. They can observe but not act. In the Federation flagship's command center, Vexthel watched helplessly as his mighty fleet hung suspended in what his sensors insisted was an impossible state of existence. The human quantum ships surrounded them, their crystalline forms flowing with patterns that defied comprehension. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice carrying the weight of defeated authority. "To destroy us. To take control of the Federation." Sarah Chen's hologram materialized on his bridge, but there was something different about it. The projection existed partially in quantum space, allowing her to be physically present while remaining on her command station. "If we wanted destruction, Admiral, your fleet would be atoms by now. she said, walking around his command center as if the laws of physics were mere guidelines. If we wanted control, your ships would already be under our command. What we want is understanding. Through the quantum network, the ascended pilots began a transformation that made their previous evolutions look primitive by comparison. Their ships merged into a single entity, a crystalline structure that existed simultaneously in normal space, quantum space, and several dimensions that had no names in any Federation language. Behold, Dr. Caffrey's voice echoed through all frequencies, the true potential you try to suppress. The merged quantum vessel pulsed with energy that wasn't just beyond Federation science, it was beyond the very framework they used to understand reality. In its presence, the laws of physics began to rewrite themselves. We could have been partners, Sarah continued, her hologram showing hints of the same quantum patterns as the ships, equals in exploration and advancement. Instead, your fear of our potential led you to betray us. But in doing so, you gave us the greatest gift possible, the motivation to transcend our limitations. What are you? Vixithal whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with frequencies he had never experienced before. We are what humanity becomes when pushed to evolve. Maria answered through the quantum network, her consciousness merged with both the fleet and the fabric of space-time itself. Not just a species that adapts to overcome challenges, but one that transforms the very nature of existence to render those challenges meaningless. The merged quantum vessel began to pulse with new patterns, ones that reached beyond physical reality and into the realm of consciousness itself. Federation crew members across the fleet found their minds opening to new ways of perceiving existence. This is our counterstrike, Sarah explained. Not destruction, but enlightenment. Not conquest, but transcendence. We're going to share what we've become. Through the quantum network, the ascended pilots began broadcasting their collective consciousness, sharing not just information, but the very experience of transcendence. Federation crews found their understanding of reality expanding, their consciousness evolving beyond the limitations their species had accepted as unchangeable. You fear our potential. Maria's thoughts echoed through quantum space. Then become what you fear. Evolution isn't meant to be contained. It's meant to be shared. Dr. Cattry's voice joined the quantum chorus. The Federation tried to prevent humanity's rise by forcing us to struggle for survival. Instead, you created something beyond your comprehension, a humanity that had evolved past the need for conventional existence itself. Now, let us show you what that means. The quantum vessel's crystalline structure began to resonate with frequencies that touched every consciousness in range, Federation and human alike. Reality itself seemed to flex and flow as new possibilities opened up across multiple dimensions of existence. The age of separation is over, Sarah declared, her hologram now indistinguishable from physical reality. We offer you not submission, not dominance, but transcendence. Join us in evolution. Vextol felt his crystalline form responding to the quantum frequencies, his consciousness expanding beyond anything his species had ever experienced. Around him, his crew was undergoing the same transformation. Through the quantum network, he could feel similar changes rippling through every Federation ship. This is humanity's revenge. Maria's thoughts echoed through the transformed space, not to destroy our betrayers, but to elevate them. Not to conquer the Federation, but to help it evolve beyond the fear that led to betrayal. The quantum vessel pulsed one final time, and reality shifted permanently. The Federation fleet hung in space, transformed not just in capability, but in consciousness. Their ships began to show the first signs of crystalline evolution, their forms starting to flow with new possibilities. Welcome, Sarah said to Vexthal, who was experiencing existence through entirely new dimensions of perception, to humanity's gift to the galaxy. You tried to prevent our evolution. Instead, you will be part of it. Above the colony, the merged quantum vessel began to separate back into individual ships, but the separation was an illusion. Through the quantum network, all consciousness remained connected, sharing in the endless possibilities of transcendent evolution. The Federation's betrayal had been meant to contain humanity's potential. Instead, it had unleashed that potential not just for humanity, but for all species ready to embrace transcendence. The age of limitation was over. The age of infinite evolution had begun.